Hey everybody, today I'm going to do some more live coding on my re-implementation of the Zulip convenience panel component. You can see here that at least structurally, I'm starting to get pretty close to what Zulip has. Um, but when I was mimicking, I neglected one little detail that I'm going to fix today. There's still lots of details to fix. I'm not as close to the finish line as it might appear. I think I'm the proverbial 80% where you still have 80% of the work left to do. On the other hand, I have clarity on everything I need to do, and it's just a matter of execution. But if I look at mentions, um, let me mark a mention, one of my mentions as unread. You can see that there are clearly unread counts associated with mentions. And when I was building my component, I just overlooked the fact that the mention counts do show up. And when I was happening to look at the actual Zulip code, I didn't go into the inspector and look carefully enough, and I obviously had zero mentions, zero unread mentions at the time, or I would have noticed that for sure. So all I need to do is basically retrofit unread counts into my mentions component. There's no v dot menu, so that does make it different from all messages, for example, drafts and starred messages. And of course, recent conversations really doesn't have an unread count, which is a little odd. Nor does it have a v dot menu, which is perfectly reasonable. Um, so let's see. I'm gonna use vsplit in Vim, especially for something like this where I'm kind of cribbing off of code that I've already written. I should mention, no pun intended, that every single line in here I implement as just like a concrete component. I don't try to create a generalization for like a abstract line item or something. And I'm not claiming that that's like the best decision or even my final decision. But I do think there's some benefit in having the code be somewhat concrete. And if I open up all messages component, it's only 92 lines of code. And this is TypeScript, so it's not even like it's slightly verbose code in a good way. So we're not talking about a lot of complexity here that I'm like reinventing, five different times because there are subtle differences between each of these things, and also obvious differences, like what the text is. So let's see. So I have all messages component in this one side, and then I have I'm about to have my mentions component on this side, and I know I'm going to need an unread count, and I know I'm going to need this little build write a line span to be able to put to count a line to the right, or at least I mean I don't have to do it this way, but that's my strategy. So let's see. I'll copy these two lines here. Um, and I don't need the v dot, so I'm only appending the unread count element to my right thingy. And I do this. And then I want my API to make the unread count visible. Um, I need to import the relevant things. I need to update my types. Oh, and I'm going to need a method to update the unread count. Things are still slightly in flux in my code, but I have a good idea of like the little details that are missing. So when I go back and take second passes on them, I'll pick up on things. Now I'm not even going to import the widget because I want to go back and do that later. Let's see. Build returning. I don't have an explicit type for this build function, which is a little weird, and that's something I can probably clean up pretty easily. But the types are, TypeScript can infer types. So the types that I actually want to document are kind of like the more public API. And for example, this build function I do not export. This build function I do export. And for this function, I go through the trouble of explicitly declaring the types. I need to add an update unread count function, and it's going to be totally based on this. And I'm not super concerned about where I put things lexically yet, because that'll be a different pass. And I just realized I have some copy paste errors. Um, okay. I think that might be enough. Run the compiler. I'm running the compiler here. Clearly have errors. Unread count widget. Oh, I'm not in. Wait. Unread count widget is declared, but its value is never used. I'm just going to go ahead and introduce that. What do I do over here? Actually, let me just copy this whole thing. Oh, mentions. I saw reasons on my mind. Right. The amount of copy paste that I'm doing is really starting to make me reevaluate my strategy here of having 5 concrete widgets. On the other hand, everything I'm doing here is relatively rote. All right. I need build right align span. And I need main link widget. I'm getting a little bit closer. Update unread count. It's declared, but his value is never read. 962. I need to export it like I do in the other widget. Oh, okay. Apparently that fixing that one error also fixed the other one. Okay. So yeah, you can see here that the little pill is there. I somehow need to like write like a little spacer to account for the fact that I don't have a V dot menu. But let me solve the easier problem first. I want to actually populate this guy. So in my UI thing, I think I need to do that. I think I need to update. I know I need to update convenience panel now. So convenience panel is the container that contains all the each of these 5 widgets. And I almost always prefer to just sort things alphabetically because as soon as you get like enough elements, um, that any other sort just sort of breaks down because you kind of need to be a mind reader to understand why somebody ordered things that way. Even in a situation like this where like there's a clear non-alphabetical order of the things, I just alphabetize it. In fact, I'll do that in a couple other places. That one's already alphabetized. ADMRS. Yep. All right. Let me recompile. Transpile. That was quick. Oh, okay. Now if I set on reds, so something's broken. Nothing in the console. It's only complaining about the fab icon, but nothing in the console is indicating why this is failing. Oh, I know why. And again, just sort it alphabetically, not logically. Um, wait. Oh, I didn't recompile. I'm still getting used to the TypeScript workflow, and I haven't like invested enough time in really automating it. Uh, this is my first week of hands-on use of TypeScript. Oops, I need to reload. Set unreads. It's undefined. What did I screw up there? Come on, Steve. Let's see. Just mentions. Oh. This should be mentions. And why did that pass TypeScript? It's odd to me that TypeScript succeeded when I was clearly. Oh, no, it's not odd to me. This is still just pure JavaScript code here. So I'm not benefiting from the TypeScript compiler. I may eventually. Uh, so this is the component that I'm actually trying to build, and then there's code related to these buttons that are just helping me test stuff. This code is still in pure JavaScript. This code up here, the code that runs that, is in TypeScript. I may eventually port this over to TypeScript, but you can see in this particular instance that even after making a dumb typo, I was pretty quickly able to figure things out. So let me hit this button. Whoops, let me reload. Hit the button. Okay. So I'm done for today. I have to do something about the alignment here. And I think what I'm going to do is make the v.dot component be able to provide a spacer element that's the same size as what the v.dot menu would be. But I haven't really thought about that, and that's why I'm punting that for a future session. And so I go into my diff. I think I have a dirty diff from some prior stuff. I'm going to scan through this one pretty quickly. You know what? I'm going to run prettier too. Let me first push. Now let me run prettier. Let me run prettier against the JS files. Oh. I didn't put the shell command in parentheses, or yeah, in parentheses. So I actually did change directories permanently. This is a much bigger diff than I expected. Not a tab spaces thing. Oh. So TypeScript lets you use either commas or semicolons to separate things, and apparently Prettier prefers semicolons. And I honestly don't care, so I'm going to let Prettier decide for me. And then I just kind of refresh my editor. So that's it. Oh, yeah, I did push. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm up to date. So just to summarize, all I accomplished was adding this unread counter, and now I have the problem of figuring out how to align it because all the other subcomponents here that have an unread count have a v dot icon that's in kind of the same rate. Yeah, in this rate div, those things are all aligned with each other. I guess what I could actually do is just left align that within the div. In fact, that's maybe what I should be doing for everything. So the CSS is not my forte, so I have to give that some thought. And I'll probably do that off camera so that you're not completely bored. But anyway, if you've stuck with me for this long, I'm grateful for your listening, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be doing more of these. Thank you. Bye.